Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Stock Anime Robin. In this video, I'll be unboxing and reviewing the Transformers Masterpiece action figure of Cybertron Commander Super Ginrai from the Transformers Super God Masterforce anime series. And this set is manufactured by Takara Tomy. And before we open this set, let's check out the details on this box real quick. So on the front view, we get a full picture of the set of Super Ginrai in the robot mode and in its truck mode. I'm pretty sure there are some people wondering why is the character Super Ginrai looks so much like Optimus Prime. That is because this character, Super Ginrai, or more specifically Godo Master Super Ginrai, was originally based on Power Master Optimus Prime created by Hasbro, and Takara Tomy adopted it, and they created their own anime series main character. So in the back we can see, and this character Super Ginrai was actually again based on Power Master Optimus Prime, was basically the very first version of Optimus Prime that can transform just from the truck to become a robot mode, and its big trailer can become one big body for him to combine to. So this is like the very first version of Optimus Prime that can combine with the trailer to make it to the TV series. And here it's telling us how the figure can be fully poseable, so it should be pretty articulated. And we have, and the trailer can also turn into a base mode. And we have, and the way this the character works is that there's a human character named Ginrai. He can transform into engine form to combine onto the truck so they can turn into the robot mode. And the trailer can become a big body for Super Ginrai to do a double on. So we have this giant form, and looks like we also have various effect parts for the whole set. So here for the guns or firing, and two different kinds of head for the Super Ginrai. One with blue eyes, one with red eyes. And this is, again, we get a full view here, and the picture of all the accessory here. And that's pretty much all the detail we can see from the case. And now let's open this up. So here we have the whole set in this plastic case. We have like two pair of guns, one obviously for the Ginrai and the bigger ones for Super Ginrai in robot mode, and attachable heads, the two heads and blaster that was to be mounted on Super Ginrai shoulders and various effect parts, including the human Ginrai, one for show and one for combination. And also from the case we have the full instruction manual, but it looks like we're supposed to put some stickers onto the figure. So before we take out anything from the set, let's have a quick look of the instruction manual. So once again, the first 2 pages just for introduction. And here it's showing us how you can put the guns on the Ginrai in truck mode, and here is how you can transform the human Ginrai to engine mode. So they can combine with the truck. And then it can begin the transformation to turn truck into the robot mode. And seems for a small truck, this is somewhat complicated steps. There's like so many steps we have to take for the transformation. And it seems it also involves some effect parts. Or here's the completion of the robot mode, Ginrai, and how you can utilize the guns or blasters as well as the firing effect accessories. Here's Ginrai's truck. So in this mode, Ginrai's truck, which can roll very easily, so it has a fair mobility, and as you saw from the instruction manual before, its blasters can be, you can like fold up the handle and then put on the back here. this is a bit of embellishment because the original design doesn't include this feature. So, but for the purpose of looking cool, it can function like a or like some kind of booster for the truck here. And here we have the trailer. So you just have to bend this part a little and I'll just fit it on. So here now the truck and the trailer are connected. Now let's check out these when they're working together. So the truck and the trailer can roll very easily. The truck can also turn. But one thing that's a little tricky is that this connector here that doesn't hook to the truck very tightly. So if when you move the whole thing, you want to hold on to both the truck and the trailer, otherwise they'll just fall apart easily. Do not think them they're like fully connected. And here we have 3 pairs of blaster weapons that can be put onto the trailer in order to create like a weaponized vehicle form. So to make it easy, I'm gonna disconnect the trailer from the truck first. So these two are gonna be put on here. And this side. And for these 4, you can choose to either only put on these 2 on the top of the trailer through this hole here. Just have to fit the handle here onto the impression. Or you can choose to combine the smaller blasters with the big one. There we go. You can connect them like this and then put them on. And here we go. So you can create like a powerful weaponized vehicle form with these accessories and the trailer. And one last thing, this truck, which is actually a big transactor for the character Ginrai, what we can do here is basically for some kind of display recreation. Here we have a on-transforming figure of Ginrai here. In the anime series, the God the Master, such as himself, are supposed to like to initiate transformation by putting their hands together and yell out Masterforce. So like this gesture this figurine is making. And then they'll begin the transformation and say God on to connect with their transactor. So we can have this figurine on display along with this Transactor trailer and truck. So this way it's like we're recreating the scene of the Ginrai about to transform. With that, we have completed the basic feature of Super Ginrai or Ginrai's Transactor in vehicle mode. And now let's transform the truck into the robot mode to connect with Ginrai. And we'll start by transforming the Ginrai figure here into the engine mode. So we'll do by splitting its legs. Turn down. Close the feet. And then close it up together. So here we have Ginrai transforming to the engine mode. And you have to simply press it on to the front of the trailer truck here. Interesting. It seems like it's not easily to stay on, but here we go. You have the engine in place, and then we have to pull the legs down and move these exhausts. There we go. So we have to open up these panels. And then pull this top cover down. There we go. So, and then now we have to pull down the hands, which is like this, these parts in here. Then we lower down these panels again, and then just open up these here. You have to lift up the arms before you lower down the arms. You have to push up these panels again, put them in place here, and then lower the arms. And now you have to open up the arms to get a hand out. Do the same with this arm to release the hand. And then you have to flip up Ginrai's head. And we have a cover here. I guess this proves this set is brand new when you opened it. Then you have to turn this head or neck part 180 degree and press it back down, and then flip the head up. And finally, we close this top cover back to become the back here, and then guess we have to lock everything in place first. You have to press the shoulder really hard to get these one hinge here to really lock into place to this part here. Now we lower the front torso and turn the lower body 180 degree, so the legs is facing the right direction. And here in the back, see this hinge here, it has to be fit onto this impression here. And then this part is a little tricky. It's like two pieces for the lower chest. You have to flip it down. So this way, the front chest and abs look more completed. And then you open up the legs and flip up the feet. And do the same thing here. There's another set of panel you have to flip up. It's like for the Ginrai's abs down here. One as well. And with that, Ginrai's Transactor's transformation from truck to robot mode is completed. And there's obviously something you have to do in order to get the figure standing well. Apparently, one little thing I didn't transform well was down here in the leg. You have to pull the feet down, so now everything's more balanced. Here. Now let's check out Ginrai's articulation here. So the head can turn left and right easily, and it can also look up very easily. In fact, so up you can go look completely up, or even if it bends its torso, it can still like it's charging forward. And the arm can rotate 360 by the shoulders, and they can also raise laterally, like all the way up like this. So this arm can rotate like this, and the hand can also turn. Good for to make a punching pose. Same thing with this hand. And also the shoulder can be moved forward and backwards like this because of this joint here. And the waist can turn left and right easily, or even 360-degree turn because it was part of the transformation. So with all these upper body articulation, it's very easy to put on a fighting stance like this. Like the torso can also bend forward like this, but to bend backwards, you'd have to do it by the leg joints. But again, you can easily look up, so you may not even need to bend backwards. And for the legs, this wheel, this little armor piece here can be lifted up to let the wheel loose. So the leg can move to the sides, or move back, kick backwards or forward. Bend the knee. Same thing with this side. But again, you'd have to lift up the armor here to set the wheel loose. And the thigh can also turn inward and outward, or even turn 360-degree. And finally, down here, the feet can turn like this. So this helps adjust the figure stance for various poses. With all this articulation, you can have Ginrai here to put on all kinds of fighting poses for display. And now let's try a few gunfighting poses of Ginrai with his blaster, as well as with the firing, the energy blast effect. In order to put the blaster into Ginrai's hand, you just have to open up the fingers like this. Here we have the handle, just go on in like this. Here we go. And you can also put the energy blast effect onto the opening of the blasters. So this way, it's like it's really shooting out gun energy. Here's Ginra firing 2 blasters. And besides the energy gunfire blast effect, Goto Master such as Ginrai himself possess a great power known as Shogun power or Super Soul power, which they can utilize in combat as energy blast from their hands. So when we have the Shogun energy blast here, they look like lightning blast. So they can have Ginra hold it in the hand. You just kind of have to find the right spot to press it on. There we go. So here it's like firing the Shogun energy blast. And this helps recreate the scene from the Masterforce anime series, because Ginra has a few times used both hands to fire powerful Shogun energy beam from his hand. And you can also utilize the figure's articulation for all kinds of poses for the Shogun energy effect. So it's like in the anime series, there are times Ginra or other Goto Masters are like charged with the Shogun energy. So like in this pose, it's like the energy is sparkling around Ginra. And you can also change the energy effect parts here a little. So take out this piece here, and this way it can also function as a weapon's energy blast. So you can fire the Shogun energy fused attack from the blasters. And another articulation point I just discovered is in here in the like the torso section of Ginrai here. You can twist to the sides. This can help with when you for putting on various kind of poses as well. Especially like if you trying to do a gunfighting pose, so you can like really twist up like this and then like fire the blasters in hand. So like this, like it's jumping in the air and fire with a hip little bend. And with that, we have covered all the basic feature of Ginrai in robot mode here. Before we go further, I want to show everyone that one little thing I missed about the trailer earlier is that in the back here, you can actually open it up. So there's not really a lot of space in there, but it is enough to put either or both Ginrai human figure in there and close it up. So if you ever just want to carry the small figure while in the truck mode, that's how you can do it. Just put them back here. Let's check out the instruction manual on how to transform the trailer to base mode. They actually go through the steps for transforming to Super Ginrai first, but there are many steps. We just need to follow this to step 16, and then we can take it from that point on how to transform to the base. So there's like a lot of panels on outside. We just have to keep unlocking and opening them up. Then up to this point, come here. The arms are gonna be like, the arms of Super Ginrod is gonna be facing upward, and the legs opened up like this. And the back panels become part of the foundation for the base, just like the legs. And this is the base mode completed, but we can just still attach weapons on it to make it look more full of firepowers. And here's a weaponized base mode completed. So first, as mentioned, we're gonna have to open up a lot of parts and panels. Then open these two panels here, put them down. The next part's a little tricky. We have to slide down this whole side panel. And then just open it up. Then we have to remove these two red parts down, which will become the arms of Super Ginrai. But for now, they're just gonna be staying here. But first, we flip them down, and then these are gonna come up here, get locked on this side. And then this panel here, we have to slide it down like this. Do the same thing this side. And then close this panel here and here. And finally, this one we lower down. So this is like up to the point where the transformation to Super Ginrai stops if we want to transform it to base mode. Now remove the arms up. longer pieces on the side, move them up so you can open up the leg part to be the foundation for the base. So in here, there we go. Have to move down this. It's kind of tricky here, but you have to open up this section here. And then just move it down to the side like this. This is like some thruster. Do the same thing here. And then move to the side. Then move it back up. Here. Move up like this. Now this panel is gonna be close up here, and then we light down this panel. Then we have to open up this side and this panel here as well. And then we just have to open up the panels on the sides here. So the transformation is basically complete. Now we just have to put the blasters on. So here. These are gonna go on here. And these go down here. And here. Now the base mold is really completed. Now one little step I missed was these two side blue panels need to be closed up like that. So other than being very cool looking, there's not much you can do with the trailer in this base mode, since it's more, again, it's like all pretty much any toys or action figure made into a form of base. It's basically just like a castle. It's for cool display, but you can, since the blasters in there, we can still put on the energy blast effect parts here. So to emulate the base either fighting or defending against enemy. And you can also have it posing with Ginrai, so it's like a battle station for him. Now to combine the trailer and Ginrai to form Super Ginrai, the first thing we have to do is transform Ginrai back into the truck mode, and then you just have to bend the back section here and just fit this little hinge here to this impression here. It can be kind of tricky because it's not gonna be a perfect section hit, but just have to kind of make sure it's stabilized enough. Now just set this aside for a moment, and you have to change the trailer here to like the main body of Super Ginrai. Just have to close up all these panels. This comes down. There's actually a little minor adjustment that had to be made on the back here. So this, you have to press it down, and here, and down, and then fit the hinge into these two impressions in there, and to lock things up. There we go. And now we just have to turn the arm 90-degree up, and then here's the tricky part. We have to take out the hand, but this, and there's also a second panel you have to open here like this. So this way you can turn the hands out, then close back in. And you want to remember how the hand appears as you take it out, so you know how to put it back. If you adjust the fingers a bit, and then you don't remember how to what configuration to return it to, then you have a very hard time trying to put the hand back into the arm. There we go. Now this is pretty much completed, and then the next thing to do is you have to lift up the head of Super Ginrai up, and finally you put double on, you load Ginrai in place, this, then you lower the head down to fit everything in place, and here we go, Super Ginrai. To really complete the combination, these two blasters are supposed to be put on its shoulders. Now let's check out the articulation of Super Ginrai here. So we can turn its head left and right very easily, and maybe even turn up a bit, but cannot really look fully up or down. And you can raise its arms laterally 90°. You can also move its arms up and down. You can rotate its arms here. You can also turn its body at its waist. So with all these upper body articulation, you can put on a simple fighting stance like this one. And you can also rotate its hands. And we also got kind of articulated fingers here. Although you might want to remember how these hands are like when they are at their default position, so that you know how to put it back into the arm when you transform it back to the truck mode or the trailer mode. Otherwise you might not be able to put the hand back in. So with these arm and hand articulation, it also allows you to, for this figure, to do quite nice big punching pose. And the waist armors can also flip up to allow you to kick the leg up like a little over 90°. You can also bend its knee. Kick sideways, so you can do like a kicking pose. Same with this other leg here. And finally, at its feet, unlike most Transformers or other highly articulated action figures, Super Ginrai here, because he doesn't have like a really any big feet design, so the joint for the feet is all the way down here at the base of its feet, so you can turn it in like that, so we can adjust its stance. that covers the articulation of this Super Ginra. And now let's see how Super Ginra works with the special effect parts, weapons, and alternate parts. And let's start by putting the blaster in Super Ginra's hand. Similar to Ginra, so we have an impression located in the palm of hand of Super Ginra here, and so hinge on the blaster part. So what we have to do is fit it in place. And then press the fingers on so the blasters held secured in place in Super Ginra's hand. And we do the same, and so you can put the other blaster into the other hand. And by utilizing the articulation of this Super Ginra, we can put on various cool looking gunfighting poses for display. We can also utilize the energy blast effect part for this blaster, just as earlier shown with Ginra. Like that. We can even put on the pose of holding one blaster with both hands. And we can also recreate Super Ginra's special fire guts technique preparation pose with this figure, which starts by Super Ginra raising his blaster toward the sky to collect Tenjiugong, the super soul of heaven. And now to the ground to absorb Chijiugong, the super soul of earth. And finally, to lower the front at fine precision to gather Jinjiugong, the super soul of humanity, to blast his special fire guts attack. And if we wanted to, we can combine the blaster together for like, again, gunfighting pose. But though this, if your intent is to recreate the poses from the cartoon, then this is unnecessary, as it's essentially embellishment in the cartoon series. Super Ginra does not have access to two pair of blaster. However, by utilizing this combined blasters along with both the effect parts of energy blast and Shogun energy here, we can like simulate the effects of the energy blast combined with Shogun power, which will be kind of cool. And that's kind of what a lot of God the Master, especially Super Ginra here, has done in the cartoon series, basically infusing their attack with Shogun power. And here we have a pair of shoulder armor effect parts. So if you do not wish to pose with these blaster on Super Ginra's shoulders. You can put these in their place. This way, it's like we got the shoulder filled so they don't show that those holes that's meant for the attachment of the blaster, and this way you can still do some cool posing with the articulation of Super Ginrai. And here we have a pair of alternate hands for Super Ginrai. They are essentially identical, with the difference being the colorings is different. Like here, all the fingers are blue, as opposed to the default hands, which are got red fingers. And in order to change a hand, you just have to open the arm panel here, and then just slide the arms or the hands over, and then you simply just replace, putting the alternate hand here. There we go. Then just do the same here. If you like the traditional Optimus Prime hands, these would be good for you to work with Super Ginrai, since they're all completely blue. They can hold the blasters the same way. And with either the default hands or the blue hands, Super Ginrai can utilize the Shogun power effect parts in his hand pretty much like Ginrai can. And finally, the last two alternate effect parts from the set are these two alternate heads for Super Ginrai. The first one is one with the red eyes. It's much like, or based on, the head of the original Super Ginrai toy, which was had red eyes, which was wrong because in the original cartoon, Super Ginrai as well as Ginrai's eyes were supposed to be blue, but the toy gave them red eyes. So let me go back a step. So in order to change to alternate head, as you just saw before, it's very easy. You just have to slide the default head off, and then just slide on the alternate head. One with red eyes. And the usefulness for this head is probably purely for nostalgia. If anyone who had the original toy of Super Ginrai, with this head, it kind of recreates the feeling of getting an old friend back of sword, or it might just be useful to make Super Ginra looking like he's angry by showing the red eyes, but totally screen inaccurate since again in the Masterforce cartoon, Super Jinra's eyes never turn red. And finally, the other alternate head here is this one. It's just simply for looking much cooler. Anyone who's really ever seen like many Japanese cartoon from the 1980s to the 1990s, you know, like most cartoon, especially the one that's like related to Transformers, a lot of characters, they don't have consistent appearance. That sometimes they look sharper or cooler than some other episodes. And Transformer Masterforce was no exception. As a result, sometimes character like Ginra or Super Ginra might look better than most other episode. And this head is like from the ones where Super Ginra looks really cool. And if you want to put this figure on display, I would suggest you use this head more often than the default head, which granted is not bad at all, but still this one again makes Super Ginra looks much cooler. There is just one small piece including this set, but it doesn't seem to serve actual effects or anything. It's supposed to be just attached to Super Jinra's butt like this. It's likely it's designed to work with some kind of display stage or stand that can be compatible with Masterpiece figure, but there's nothing that can really help Super Jinra in the rest of the set with this piece. So I guess this, if you have this set, you have to kind of watch out for what can be released later to be compatible with this piece. And with that, we have covered all the basic features of the set. And I would say this masterpiece have successfully incorporated all the traits that would allow these figure to recreate any feature that would be given off by Ginra or Super Ginra from the Transformer Super God Masterforce series. And it also heavily recreate but then improve upon the original Super Ginra toy. And it's kind of clear they target any fans or collectors who would feel nostalgia toward toward the character, and they, I believe, the manufacturer and the designer did a very good job. Not only this figure has the effect parts that would allow Jinra to exercise the main feature of his character, the Chogang power, and there's also like the various effect parts, like the energy blast effect parts or different size of blaster to allow this figure to be very versatile for posing, and which is all very good. However, the downside of While this figure is still mostly plastic, it has a lot of trays and parts of like a die-cast figure, and as such, like many of the larger die-cast figure, even with all the articulation, there's also like quite some inflexibility, at least in the Super Ginrai form. As Ginrai, the figure was a little more flexible, but it can still be tricky to put on, to work its the possibility with, since it's not exactly sturdy. And in the Super Ginrai form, the problem becomes the opposite. It could be a little too sturdy for you to try to pose the figure to be good looking. And if you want to get this set, that's a challenge you want to be prepared to deal with. And then one little downside to some of these articulation is the lack of good design or good alternate parts for the hands. While Super Jinra's hands here is got very articulated fingers, but not well. Only the index finger here, it can move somewhat freely, but the thumb, it can move toward any direction except for like this, just facing forward like this, and the other three fingers aren't exactly articulated almost at all. So this this well may allow Super Ginrai to hold the blasters or the effect parts okay, but it makes the hands unable to really create a clenching fist posture, so therefore you can't make a really good punching or hand squeezing effect well. And they could have at least created a set of alternate hands that are just clenched fists, but since they don't, you would have to be prepared with not being able to see Super Ginrai making a solid fist. And if you don't like Transformers that doesn't have really clenched fists, then maybe this is not something you want after all. But besides this minor flaw, I believe everything I've shown in this video proves that this set would be really great for any Transformers fans who love Optimus Prime, or if you were really big fan who loved the Transformers Super God Masterforce series. And I would highly recommend you consider adding this set to your collection. This concludes my review for this set. Thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe to my channel. And please check out other videos in my channel. If you have any question, please leave them in the comment section. I will answer with the best of my knowledge and ability.